5-day jungle trekking in Bukit Lawang, North Sumatra, Indonesia. We're arriving at Medan Airport and then being picked up by Hafuz, who's the taxi from Sumatra Ecotravel. It's about a 3 to 4 hour car drive from the airport to Bukit Lawang. So that's also why we had a quick dinner and had a bakso, which is an Indonesian meatball. We arrived quite late in the night, had a really good night's sleep, and then the next day had a breakfast. Already saw the few first monkeys, which was really nice, and also the main reason why Suzanne booked this trip, this 5-day jungle trek to see monkeys. So in the morning we're still happy, clean, smelling nice, moving to the jungle from Bukit Lawang, which is a small village, and it's also on the edge of the Gunung Leuser, Leuser National Park. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And immediately we're actually already being greeted by all of the different monkeys. So Suzanne was very happy. I mean, me too. I really love them. They're very cute. And this is our guide Anton, who's walking in front, and there's 2 more guides in the back. Perdi, the younger one, and Awi. The group consists of 6 people, so Suzanne and I were here on our honeymoon, by the way. Yes, definitely maybe not the best choice to do this, like a 5-day deep in the jungle for your honeymoon, but more on that later. And we're joined by 2 people, Jamie and Dave from UK, from Bath, and Rose and Mona from France. This is the first, I think they call it a Sumatran orangutan that we spotted. It's enjoying a watermelon. So it was really awesome to see all of these different monkeys. Though on the first day, do expect that there are also quite a lot of other groups walking around, and it's especially the first day, it's a trip that a lot of people do. But then later on in this video you'll see, like in day 2, but definitely day 3 or 4, you're basically the only group that's like deep in the jungle, with it's just you and a few guides with you, which for me it made it much more special. And then a peacock, and then delicious fruits. I think that was one of the biggest surprise for me of this trip, that I didn't expect that all of the guides will have the food with them and prepared for us, like right in front of us, like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and actually really good food as well. I've shot some of these videos with my new iPhone 16 Pro that I bought right before we went on this honeymoon, and also some of them with the DJI Osmo Action 3. Again, spotting a lot of monkeys, seeing them in their natural habitat. It was really awesome and cool to see. And it's also one of the things that I really enjoyed about this jungle trekking, because I expected it was just about the hiking and the trekking and really being super tired at the end of the day. But we stopped quite a lot, and Anton showed us all the animals. He knew where to exactly stop. He showed us what they would eat, what kind of materials there are, like the rubber trees that they wear. And again, as I said, the food as well. They would just prepare some nasi goreng with some nice crackers and put it on a banana leaf, and there you go. It's a lot of going up and down the hill. It was quite tiring. I think the first day was still okay, but because of the weather, it's like 30 degrees, it's extremely humid, and especially I sweat a lot, so my t-shirt will be soaked at the end of the day. But then you see these kind of views and the different animals, and it's all worth it. Some shrooms on the trees, and And then these beautiful long trees. And then this is the end of the first day where we arrive at the camp. This was definitely a surprise for us because it's a very simple camp, and I expected my wife Suzanne will book a trip that at least maybe had a more fancy accommodation, but basically it's a very thin mat you get and a hut that was built from some sticks and some plastic. But actually in the end I really appreciate the fact that that was the case and it was not some fancy tent build, and like that the whole reason of why you are in the jungle is kind of gone.
Same like this. This is Western sambal, sweet potato. Yeah, and this one omelette.
So usually with the dinner they had like 2, 3, 4 options, mostly also vegetarian, and I think not one day did I feel that I could have eaten more, or every time my belly was full. Like it was so much food. The next morning they would make some toast, they would make something again in the morning. So on the second day we walked up because we had to go down later on to go to the river.
Beautiful.
And before we were going down we actually saw this orangutan, which was a very wild one compared to the one we saw on the first day. But this orangutan was really incredible because when we saw it we had to be really silent. It was kind of claiming its territory here and it didn't want to go away. So we had to wait for about 30 minutes. And after this it's even breaking off some branches to show that it's very strong. And the guides also told us not to walk underneath it because they throw all kinds of branches down. Definitely beautiful and great to see that. I mean, in real life it's something else, but at least you get the gist of what we experienced on that day. Again, having a lunch, having some fruits. And here is the river where we're walking on the second day. So the first part was maybe a 2-3 hour hike through the jungle, and then the second part is about a 2-3 hour walk through the river to the second camp where we're staying. So here we also got a few sticks to help us around with walking because the current was very strong at times. So here's the second camp. You can see all of the tents that they made. It's literally a few sticks with a few of plastic around it. So here's where we would sleep with 6 people. Definitely not everyone would like this, but I think it adds to the entire experience. And what I really enjoyed is the guides preparing everything with just some wood, fire. They had like a few pans with them where they made all of the food, so that made it all even more impressive, the things that they pulled off with the food and everything. It was very cozy and it was really enjoyable to be with 6 people, eat on the floor in the jungle next to a river. Do you have to get used to all of the bugs, the spiders, the leeches that are constantly on you, the bees, the wasps? Yes, definitely. I mean, also when you're sleeping, it's like the jungle, you're hearing it constantly. But I think it's quite special, it's quite magical.
Lucky monkey not come in my room last night.
And I have much more respect for my wife doing all of this, because she definitely doesn't like these kind of things, but she managed to do all 5 days with us and not say after the first day, okay, I don't want to do it anymore. This is on the third day. So again, the third day is mostly on the river. It's a little bit easier, or at least you don't have the very steep hills. Day 3 of the hike. I think I'm getting used to being wet all the time and sweaty and nothing being dry. I mean, the nature is really beautiful, but it is something. And then here actually we saw an elephant, which is the biggest surprise of the trip, because even the guides have never seen an actual elephant. Me and Jamie were walking in front, and suddenly I see Awi's reaction, which is one of the guides, and he was going crazy because like literally 5 meters from the right of us, unfortunately I didn't capture that, there was an elephant in front of us and it saw us, and we saw the elephant and it just ran away. And then there we were looking for the elephant again, and luckily it came again here. So it showed here at quite some distance, but it was really beautiful to see this wild elephant. And I think even nicer was the fact that the guides had never seen an elephant, so we were quite lucky to see an elephant there. Later on you can see them in the bushes, so it's an entire family. It was not too visible. It's about 3 to 4 elephants, and I was so surprised that as soon as the elephant saw us, it just ran into the bushes, and I thought, how can an animal that big hide from us? Well, let me tell you, we didn't find it anymore after that. So that was really one of the highlights of the jungle trekking, to see an elephant. And at that moment the guys were really amazed and asked us immediately if we could send the photos and the videos to them. Again, quite technical or like difficult paths to go to the camp on the third camp, which was a bit more deeper into the jungle. So here you can really see like the skeleton of the tents, which they had to just build from scratch because the elephant broke the entire camp. And then the rain, I think I forgot to tell about the rain, but it rained so much. I think on the first day it rained extremely, and then on the second day a little bit, but on the third day it already started at like 7 or 6 in PM. So what do you do when it rains? Like nothing dries, even though we hang up everything inside the tent. The weather is so humid that it doesn't matter. Like I had a t-shirt that was a bit wet, but it didn't get dry at all. But it was also quite cozy to stay in the tent with the mosquito net around us. But it rained so much that the guides had to come and fix the tent even. So we even watched the documentary on our iPad that we brought with us in the tent, making sure the mosquito net is around the mats, because otherwise you will be eaten by the mosquitoes. And then the next morning, luckily in the mornings it's dry, so we're able to wake up again. So overall the night sleep was not the best because you have all of the jungle sound, the mat is not very thick, you're sleeping on something that's quite hard. But every time in the morning you forget about it and you enjoy a nice coffee, because of course I brought my AeroPress with me. And then you start your day starting hiking and seeing so many beautiful animals. So again, every time the camp it was set up and down again. So I think the biggest most respect I have is for all of the guides. Like we're just here like really like touristically looking at all of the animals and just doing the hiking, but they're really doing so much more than us, and I do know that they're of course used to it, but the amount of things that they carried with them, that was really something that I have so much respect for. And then there's the fourth day. I think on this day I sweat the most, because after that we had to go all the way up again, and my shoes literally got soaked because of sweat, because I was sweating so much. Like there was no water or anything, it was just sweat that got in my shoes. And I think this last day was definitely the most difficult. And this is also the final camp where we arrived, so this is night 4. It's next to the river. We arrived here also at around 2 p.m. And here you could also see that the guides were quite happy that they arrived here, which feels like a home base for them, because from here the next day we're going rafting. But even here, I think the nice thing about this whole jungle trekking is that we were not in a rush. Like it's not about like, let's immediately try to go from A to B in 2 days. Because if we really wanted to, I think this 5-day trekking could be done in maybe 2 or 3 days. But I think it's more about the entire experience with going into the jungle, experiencing the animals, having the foods, and these kind of things that made it really, really special. Playing some card game tricks by Aoi in the evening. And then what you saw earlier, they were fishing. So this is the eel that they caught, which is also quite insane. They caught that eel by setting a trap in the evening before, and here they actually cooked the eel for us, and it was insanely good again. Really tasted like fish and chips without the chips. The river was really nice, really fresh, cold water. And then from here, just chilling and playing around with the strong current that there was there. And then after that, actually, we got our final lunch at this camp. And I really love that every time they would make the plate, like it always looked so beautiful. Like they really didn't have to, but every time they made sure it looked beautiful just for us, which I could really appreciate. So I think on this day we were so happy it was already done. So basically what happens is from the river you go all the way down to go rafting back to the guest house. And this took, I think, about 1.5, maybe almost 2 hours. Again, all of the respect here goes to the both guides, one in the front, one in the back. They really made sure that we arrived safe. Here's Dave and Jamie, and then in the back we had Mona and Rose. At one part we had to get out because a tree fell. And that was it. The rafting was really fun, but I think maybe it would have been nicer if we could also help a little bit. It felt a little bit sad that the guys were the only ones doing everything. Other than that, the 5-day jungle trekking in Bukit Lawang, I so recommend you doing it. As I said before, yes, you will get a lot of leeches, there will be a lot of mosquitoes and animals and things, and the night sleep won't be the best. But the whole experience of being 5 days in the jungle, I didn't have a single moment where I was checking my phone, seeing if I had a connection and anything. I was just enjoying the moment and being there in the nature, seeing all of these beautiful animals. It's worth everything. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a like. If you love it, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao, bye bye.